Leangari. Well, let's just move on to matters education here. Members of Parliament are now demanding that the Ministry of Education publicly admits that Kenya can no longer sustain the promise of free basic education following years of massive funding shortfalls that have left schools struggling to operate. Basic Education Principal Secretary Julius Bitok came under sharp criticism from lawmakers after he failed to convincingly explain the continued delays and cuts in capitation funds. The legislators based their concerns over a report showing that the government underfunded capitation by 76.9 billion shillings, as our education reporter Libis Nyaundi now tells us.
Free or not free? That was the question on the status of education in the country once again, as Education Principal Secretary Julius Bitok was hard-pressed over the funding of schools as he appeared before the National Assembly Public Accounts Committee.
Is basic education still free or is no longer free? We tell the parents and society, the community, to brace themselves to take up the responsibility of providing basic education, yet it is guaranteed in the Constitution of Kenya.
While the PS maintain that the government is indeed providing free education and disbursing 22,000 shillings per learner to secondary schools, MPs disputed this, arguing that only 12,000 to 15,000 shillings was disbursed to schools.
Is this government policy, do you think it is tenable? Or it is time we just came out and told Kenyans, this is what government can afford, and we say it is the 15,000, or it is the 17,000, so that in the planning of the ministry and strategy, it is just known this is what government can afford, so that parents are told this is what they need to pay.
Under official guidelines, each secondary school student is entitled to 22,244 shillings under the free day secondary education program, while primary school learners receive 1,420 shillings for free primary education.
Yes, with all due respect, do you think your department has done enough to persuade Treasury, because I believe there's enough money in this country to put in education, to persuade Treasury at sector level that we cannot compromise quality of education by reducing capitation?
What do you expect these schools to do so that they can be able to meet this gap that is arising out of less capitation, or less money is given in form of capitation? Because you are giving us learners not paid. Where is that learner supposed to go? Because that learner is assured of free primary, free secondary education, like this learner who has already received capitation.
With schools receiving a shortfall of the expected amount, Funyula MP Wilberforce Oundo led the criticism, urging the PS to admit that education in the country is no longer free. The PS has now called on lawmakers to provide the ministry with the required budgetary allocation.
Schools fall short of the submitted requirements during the years under review for the schools. At secondary school level, budgetary and enrollment data across the fiscal years between 2020, 2021 and 2023-2024 indicate underfunding of Kenya shillings 76.9 billion. The approved rate remains constant, of course, at 22,244 for secondary, while enrollment for the same period increased from 3.3 million to 4 million.
Liz Nyaundi, KTN.
And now, victims of human rights violations, their families